So I'm James,
And I'm Dan.
and this is Backseat Driving Reviews, and we are going to review Ocean's 8.
So Ocean's 8, a little bit of a spin-off of the Ocean's franchise, this time following Danny Ocean, so that's George Clooney, following his sister as she's released from prison and, as I think the whole family does, has an intricately plotted heist in her mind that she wants to execute. It very much follows the genre staple of the heist film, and at the end of the day, I didn't like it. Let's be honest, I didn't like it.
So I did. And this, I think, goes back to I'm just easily entertained. I didn't think that it had like the same, caper feel as the Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 13. Ocean's 12 is kind of crap. Because I just didn't like I'm out of. I mean, it's follow the same premise. Get out of prison, and we're gonna do this. I liked all the actresses. I am a Sandra Bullock fan. I liked the story. I did not pay much attention to it going through it, which is not uncommon for me because I just go with it. Because there was several twists in it, and
Well, we should use air quotes for twists.
there's twists. there were twists. I mean,
Twists like walking into a McDonald's and being surprised that they have a double quarter pounder. I mean, it's twists that are by the book twists.
true. I mean, it followed the scam. But like I said, I am an Sandra Bullock fan.
And I'm gonna give a fair warning disclaimer. I don't like Sandra Bullock, and it's a labor for me to get through a movie with her. I will give you a little bit of my recap of Ocean's 8. The first half hour, I was literally in my mind thinking, "Oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into watching this film?" It's gonna be like ripping out my fingernails for the next hour or so. About a half hour into it, though, after that, it got a little bit better. As more characters come to the forefront, some of the other 8 as a part of the Ocean's 8 come to the forefront, it's more entertaining for me. But Sandra Bullock did nothing for me in this movie. I like Cate Blanchett. She did nothing for me in this film. I like Helena Bonham Carter. She was annoying to me in this film. It was actually all the supporting other characters. The standout for me was Anne Hathaway. Is fabulous.
Who everybody hates right now.
She does, but she is fabulous in this movie because it's interesting. As you watch this movie, it follows to a T everything you expect from a heist film, from the Ocean's franchise, or even all the other heist films that have ripped off the Ocean's franchise, from the way it's directed and the little fades and wipes and the way it's edited. I mean, to a T, it follows that. But what it is missing is it's missing the fun. There's absolutely zero fun that Sandra Bullock or the main principal people are having in this movie, and that was the hardest thing for me in engaging it. It was so by the numbers, like, let's just do it, and people weren't having fun. And I think when we originally walked out of the theater, and I said to you, when I watch Ocean's 11, which is the one I love, 12 and 13 less so, but it's like George Clooney emerges from prison like he's been at a resort for however long. He's got a smile on his face. He's happy and has charisma.
And Sandra Bullock is so dour.
Yes,
the whole time. There's like, it's. I will disagree. Like I found. I mean, I like.
It's like she's too cool for school in this movie.
She's way too cool to be in this movie. It's like she's just. What's weird is, and like you pointed this out after we left. There is a flashback scene as to how Sandra Bullock's character gets into the family business. But what's interesting is like what they showed. She wasn't even like high profile, and evidently it goes back to even their father, which is just like a brief mention. Like they were not even. I mean, the scams that they were running I'm pretty sure like 80-year-old women do it now. Or people. I don't want to say women.
And that is funny. You mentioned that because, you know, in the flashbacks and as we learn about the characters, they've been doing small-time scams, like 3-card Monte, essentially, type scams. And then suddenly they're going to rob the Met.
The Met.
Gala.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
really? So that was rather interesting. The other complaint I had about this movie, and I know you often tag me about the whole realism part, but the fact of the matter is that not all of the people that are part of Ocean's 8 are criminals. Like, in Ocean's 11, they were all criminals.
Yeah, this
like,
one is just like, hey,
you wanna
do it? Yeah.
Let's go rob this $30 million thing
in a 2-week time frame. It's like, you
Yes.
don't, that I did find, like I said, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. Analyzing it, completely different, because to me it was watchable. But it's just like all of a sudden, I don't trust people to come into my home. And these are people that I would actually call friends. You know, I just don't want people looking at my stuff, let alone trying to do this huge, gigantic heist.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, I know we don't know each other, but here's the keys to my car. Just have a good time with it. Don't tell anybody, you know, don't tell the insurance company I did this. There were unbelievable aspects of it, whereas, say, in the other Ocean's movies, or, you know, not Catch Me If You Can, Now You See Me.
Yeah, all that
Like,
kind
at least, well, the first one, at least it seemed somewhat viable.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, this one, it was, we what, three or four out of the 8 knew each other before, and then it was just not even, like, necessarily associates.
I know, and, you know, and here's the funny thing. So Sandra Bullock, it's no spoiler because it's the start of it, you know, has spent 5 years in prison, and I guess over these 5 years has intricately plotted out this robbery of the Met Gala.
Which is so weird, because 5 years, think about 2013.
Yeah.
Technology and everything has changed since then.
But that's the thing. How exactly do you plan to rob the Met from inside of prison over 5 years? Like, what?
I don't know,
What
man.
is she Googling in that prison library? I don't know.
If I had 5 years to plan something, I'm pretty sure I can execute it myself.
And it was, and here's the funny thing. That's not the most unbelievable part of this film. That's sort of like, oh, okay, I'll take that at face value.
No, because
It's-
like it seemed like the scam that they were doing. It's funny. Like I said, I liked it. I was entertained. When you start breaking it down, then it just gets all crazy. But it's like she was doing, and she wasn't. But it was like she was doing check scams, check signing scams before, and she goes to prison for several years, and then she's going to pull off like a heist. I mean, it's not. I mean, they're stealing a necklace off somebody's neck
while they're wearing it.
while they're wearing it, and all the factors and everything that you put into it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I did like the movie, which is so weird.
Yeah, and I came out of it thinking I survived it more than being entertained. I will say, just spoiler warning for everybody, George Clooney does not make an appearance in this movie. And I say that because the movie itself seems to build up to the fact that he's gonna walk on screen at some
I
point.
would have, and there are cameos.
There are.
by some of the lesser characters in all the Ocean movies. I
Sure.
mean, pivotal characters, but lesser characters. I would have been given. I don't need like a pop up like in Ghostbusters where let's try to get all the old Ghostbusters.
Right.
This movie did seem rushed. It's like, let's just get a female version out of it, and I knew that it was coming. So it was entertaining to me.
Yeah. I'd give it 1.5 popcorn buckets out of 5.
I would give it 3.5.
Alrighty. Very good. Very generous. Well, I am Dan.
And I'm James.
And thank you for taking the drive.